So, hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Change Nerd channel. I'm here today with Rachel Rainey. And Rachel and I work together professionally, but we're not here to talk about professional stuff. We want to talk about life stuff because change happens to us every day, whether we're the root of it, whether it's happening to us or with us. We've shared that in other videos. But today we want to talk about why it's hard for people to stick with stuff. Because, so Rachel, first, tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll get into our topic. So, tell us about you.
Thanks for having me, Jason. I'm excited to be here. This is my first podcast. So I'm both a little nervous and very excited. So a little bit about me. I am I am a change management consultant. I work at a company called Levata Human Performance. I've really been doing change management consulting my entire career. So happy to be here and share. Personally, I am a working mom of three. I have three children, ages 4, 7, and 11. I have, let me count, currently 4 pets at home with us as well, a dog, 2 cats, and a snake. So lots of change going on around me, both personally and professionally.
And the snake's name is Pancake, correct?
That's correct. The snake's name is Pancake. That was a whole personal change journey for me. My daughter came to me about a year ago and she said, I want to get a pet snake. And this didn't come out of the blue. She's always had an interest in all types of reptiles. And I was like, absolutely not bringing a snake into my house. And she said to me, what do I have to do to be able to get this snake? And I said, if you feed our 2 cats every single morning and afternoon and night for 3 months, I said, I will get you the snake. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking she's never going to do that, right? Like
Mhm.
she's never going to commit to that consistency for 3 months. And sure enough, she did it and she proved me wrong. And so for her 10th birthday, we went out and we got her this baby ball python snake who's going to grow to be 5 feet at some point in his life. They live for about 30 years, so it's a long term commitment. So, yes, now I have slowly but surely gotten more comfortable with being able to take care of this snake that I was quite frankly petrified of when he first came home.
I applaud you. I don't know that I would ever have a snake in my house. I think that's change I could never embrace.
That's
birds
change,
were
right?
enough.
You have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and speaking of which, so we just recently moved through the first of the year, which of course I've always noticed the same thing happens every year. The gym is always super full in January. And by about this time, about mid-February, it starts to peter out. So wanted to talk today about what are the things that get in the way of us sticking through those changes and making those resolutions stick? What advice would you have for people like, gosh, I really want to do this and I get all excited about it and it fizzles out. It never happens.
Yeah, I mean that happens to me as well, right? I pride myself in trying to be, a healthy, fit, active person. I think the first piece of advice I would give people about your kind of resolution or something you're trying to stick to or achieve is you have to find that deeper purpose or that deeper why, right? Like what's the why behind why you are doing this? I think on the surface level, right? Let's talk about the gym and the fitness example, right? On the surface level, the why for somebody could be, oh, I want to lose a few pounds, or oh, I want to fit into those jeans that I haven't been able to fit into for 2 or 3 or 4 years. Historically, I've kind of approached my health and fitness like that, where it's always kind of a what's the short term goal, right? Losing a few pounds, fitting into the pair of pants. This time around, this year, I've kind of taken a different approach and I've spent some time really thinking at a deeper level, what is my why? Why do I want to do this? And for me, it's really about I want to have more energy to be a more active mom to my 3 kids, right? And so it's not just about what's the number on the scale or what's the pant size. It's more about from a long term, perspective, how can I show up as the best, most energetic mom to my 3 crazy children? And so I think kind of finding that deeper purpose has been more meaningful to me, and it's helped me kind of stick to the resolution. I think that the second thing is I always have this habit where I work hard, at fitness for about 4 or 5 weeks. And every single time, once I hit that 5 week mark, I just kind of throw my hands up and give up. And
Mm.
so I was actually talking to my trainer at the gym, and I did something a little crazy this time around. Is when I started, I filmed a video to myself that I sent to myself 4 weeks in. And I basically was like, Rachel, it's 4 weeks. You're about to give up. Don't give up. Think about your why, right? And your kids is your why.
Mm.
And so I got that video, and now I'm 7 weeks in and kind of still going strong. So I think it's also about how can you build in these continual reminders for yourself about your why.
I love that proactivity about it because we know it's coming. We know the pattern has been four
Yep.
weeks in. So you send yourself an encouragement video and you keep going. Do you think people sometimes set goals or resolutions based off of what others think they should do and then they don't get really solid with their why?
Yeah, I think all the time, right? I mean, I think with all this like social media, and I think we have this image of what we should be or who we should be and what we should look like, and all these external forces just flooding you with information. And I think personally that can only motivate you for so long, right? At
Mm.
some point you have to find the internal motivation to keep going. I also think, you have to think about the resolution from a long-term perspective, right? Like I'm really approaching this not as a diet or I'm going to do this for 3 months and then I've met my goal. Like my goal is to change my lifestyle, right? So I think once you kind of remove that time constraint around it and make it more of a long term behavior change versus a short term fad, right?
Mm.
That's really when I think the change can stick.
Mm. Yeah, it truly is a behavior change. I think we, especially, we talk about on this channel the 5 questions that you have to answer. Why this? Why now? What do we get out of it? You've answered all that. I think in the past when I've set resolutions and stuff, I get excited about it, but I really like the I really like that reminder, that 4 week or 8 week or whatever
Yeah.
one that says, "Hey, you're going to have friction coming, so start building a way to overcome that friction before it hits."
Yeah, and I think the reality is the excitement is always going to fade, right? And so
Yeah.
it's what can you put in place to kind of continue your momentum. I'm also trying to do small things along the way. A lot of times in our work we talk about, celebrating the small successes along the way, right? And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to think about, when I have a success, what can I do to really celebrate that? Because that helps me with my momentum as well.
Do you think people sometimes maybe feel guilt about that cheating, or not necessarily cheating, but the reward piece of it? Like, no, I just got to stay focused on my goal. I can't have a Girl Scout cookie today, even though it's only 80 calories or 100 calories. Do you think people sometimes get hung up on
Yeah,
that?
I'm trying to follow like the 80-20 rule, right? I mean, I think you have to love and enjoy your life, right? You have to have
Yeah.
fun, you have to find pleasure in things, right? And so this completely strict, you can never put a bad piece of food in your mouth. Like that's not practical for me. I have junk around my house all the time because the kids want mac and cheese and chicken nuggets and cookies, right? So there's that temptation is always there. And yeah, every once in a while, do I have a bite of something bad? Of course I do. I'm human. I'm not perfect. And so, I think as much as folks can follow this, try to achieve the goal 80% of the time, right? And that incremental progress will get you there, but also the grace and the understanding that it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to have something that tastes good. It's okay to skip a workout if my kids have something really important that they need me there for, right? So I think it's also a lot about like flexibility and just giving yourself the grace that you need in the moment that you need it.
So many of the viewers of this channel are going to be either independent people that like to do it themselves or ones that like to work with others and have that accountability mechanism. Which one are you and how do
Oh,
you make that work?
I am 100% an accountability person. I need a partner. I need someone like texting me every day. So I have a few kind of people in my court. So My first person is I've been working with the same trainer for about probably 8 years. So it's interesting because he's seen me coming out of my first pregnancy. He worked with me throughout my second pregnancy. He got me in really, really good shape from before my third pregnancy. And he is a true accountability partner to me, whether it's, a text, a joke, a celebration. I also have been kind of doing this fitness journey with a good friend and my neighbor. So we started together on January 1st, and we go to classes together. We kind of share recipes and kind of meal prep ideas together. When we maybe like don't have the best week, I reach out to her and I'm like, oh, I really, I'm not feeling great about this week, or I feel like I made this mistake. And, we kind of talk each other up and keep each other going. So I'm definitely more of the camp, like I need someone holding me accountable because I don't always hold myself accountable in the way that I want to.
Yeah. So true. I'm the same way. I need other people, and whether it be a text or an app or something that just
Mhm.
has that day-to-day touch point, that's certainly important.
Well, it's that constant reminder, right? I think a
Yeah.
lot of times from a change management perspective, we think about how can we, provide this like slow drip of communication, right? Or this slow drip of reminders or reinforcement, right? And so I think the accountability or the partner or the app or the reminder is a good way to kind of always keep your change front of mind for you so it can be a focus. I think a lot of times change is hard. People don't love change. And
Yeah.
so I think our natural reaction is to kind of push it away or push it to the side. And so these reminders and the accountability piece, I think really continue to bring it to the forefront.
Yeah.
They don't let you push it away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there in your face and reminding you and not letting you off the hook, which I think is one last question. Do you think the volume and velocity of life kind of gets in people's way of sticking with their goals, commitments, and resolutions? Do you feel like that sometimes there can be so many things going on that it can almost get lost in the shuffle?
100%. I used to be the type of person, I kind of put myself in this box, I would say, of, everything has to be perfect. I have to be perfect. My family has to be perfect. My life has to be perfect. My work has to be perfect. And putting myself in that box, I think put this immense amount of pressure, right? And
Mm.
the chaos all around me, whether it was work or life or whatever, just built and contributed to that pressure. I've been doing some work over the past year to just really kind of acknowledge and accept myself as a little bit of a mess, right? And that's okay. It's who I am. It's part of my being. And I think I have, because I've accepted that, I've become more comfortable with the chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think chaos can definitely get in the way of people making progress. I don't know if others have an experience like I have where I've kind of put myself in a box where the chaos has been unbearable, and kind of finally breaking through has allowed me to kind of wade through the chaos in a little bit of an easier way. I think the chaos is never going to go away, right? So I think the challenge is how do you navigate it in a way for yourself where it feels okay and it feels like maybe you can tackle, maybe it's one change at a time, right? I think adding a lot of changes to the mix only amplifies the chaos.
Mm.
Whereas, maybe being more selective or kind of prioritizing, like, here's one big change I want to work on this year, right? And that's great. That's a huge accomplishment to be able to make with all the other chaos going on around you. But it's hard. It's hard.
It's such great information. So, if you were to if someone watching this today is like, you know what, I'm ready to start making a personal change that I really need to get going, and I'm ready, what would be the one thing you would say to start with? The one thing that would help them get going?
I think I think the one thing I would say to start with is before you commit to the change, really understand the purpose or the why behind it and dig deep Don't settle for the surface level reason. Really make sure it's a why or a purpose that is true and motivating to you.
Awesome. Awesome. If people want to connect with you, how can they do it?
Yeah, LinkedIn, and you can find me on Levata Human Performance.
Terrific. Rachel, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate your advice, your insight, your energy. And we look forward to having you back on the podcast again.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Jason.
Thanks, Rachel.
Okay.